So in 2010, very early 2010, I get appointed as executive producer for all the ceremonies, the Olympic ceremonies in London, and my special responsibility was broadcast. Damn cool. So Danny Boyle created a pre-visualization, basically a graphic computerized version of what his opening ceremony was going to look like. I remember watching this previs for the first time and being absolutely exhilarated. It was amazing. The Sex Pistols are playing, this helicopter's flying down the Thames. I'm like, bring it on. Then we go into the Industrial Revolution sequence. It was amazing, spectacular. It had such humanity, such passion, such politic. It was quite brilliant. Then about 10 minutes in, I had this sinking feeling when I kind of realized, hang on a minute here, I'm watching a Danny Boyle movie. This is amazing, but you know what? We aren't going to be creating a Danny Boyle movie. We're creating a Danny Boyle theatre piece which somebody else is going to shoot, and that somebody else is not going to be with us until a month before the ceremony. I'm like, whoa, and these alarm bells are going, and I literally can't concentrate on the rest of the previs because my stomach is going. So I go to a meeting with all the senior players at LOCOG and I say, you know what guys, I think we've got a problem here. What we have all fallen in love with is a Danny Boyle movie. With me I have a copy of Trainspotting. Together we watched sections of Trainspotting, and I think slowly everybody started to understand that the way that Danny had shot Trainspotting, edited Trainspotting, approached Trainspotting was so unique, and they could see in that movie all the signatures that had pressed their buttons when they'd watched this pre-visualization. And I posed the question, okay, Trainspotting as a concept, in the hands of the team that had shot any previous opening ceremony, would not be Trainspotting. And at that point, I think the penny dropped. After many months of debating, it was finally agreed that Danny Boyle would shoot the opening ceremony. And practically speaking, that meant that a TV production company would come to work for LOCOG, would work for Danny, and that I would be the person in the gallery directing the pictures on the night.
I suppose the single and overriding challenge that we faced was that an independent production company has never done the opening or the closing ceremony, for that matter, of the Olympic Games. Traditionally it has been done by Olympic Broadcasting Services, who did the protocol sections this year, but that threw down a whole raft of challenges because there are so many entities involved here. Anyone with an acronym can come to this party basically. So you've got the IOC, you've got LOCOG, OCOG, you've got OBS, you've got NBC, BBC, and somewhere in the middle of that, doing the cultural sections, is done and dusted.
So I had been pretty vocal about how amazing this previs was, but in reality this previs was a computer render. It represented many completely impossible angles. It represented a cutting pace that was quite at odds with how you shoot live multi-camera events. But everybody had bought this previs, myself included. Even the Queen had bought in. You know, Danny had disappeared to the palace, shown the Queen the previs, and she'd said, Danny, you're on, I'm in your movie. So this very scary, unrealistic previs now became the blueprint for myself and for Done and Dusted.
Danny's vision was clearly very thoughtful and deliberate and intimate, and it was a story, and the story was told through thousands of volunteers. And Hamish's job, and our job really in supporting Hamish, was to look at that story and figure out how to tell it in live television terms, where to put the cameras, and how to have those cameras tell this story for him. And not only that, to grab and harness the atmosphere in the stadium, which was one of huge anticipation and excitement and scale, and it really was two very different worlds having to come together and meet in the middle.
And I thought, right, what we're going to do here is we're going to post-produce the show before we shoot it. And by that I mean we got a load of consumer cameras, we went down to all the rehearsals in rainy Dagenham, and single camera almost, we started to shoot the sequences. We edited them down. From these early edits, we started to create camera scripts for the camera operators who would then attend rehearsals when we moved to the stadium. And at all points, Danny would be dropping into the edit going, yeah, you've got this right, no, you've got that completely wrong. Can we do this? Can we not do that? I like this, I don't like that. And it was an incredibly great experience. It was a learning experience for me, and it was a learning experience for Danny.
So Hamish is trying to work with Danny to translate Danny's vision into broadcast. But if we can't get them to the end user, then they're pretty useless, and that's where the complication comes in.
The opening ceremony of the Olympic Games was a game of twos. We had two of everything. We had two galleries, we had two what we call CARs, central apparatus rooms, and we have two sound operations, so that if one fails, we have instant backup and seamless backup, so that hopefully the viewer at home doesn't know that anything is awry.
On the night we had 2 or 3 helicopters in the sky. We had cameras specially built into the stage. We had one camera that did only one shot that literally came out of a hatch in the stadium floor, looked straight up at the Olympic rings, and when the Olympic rings came into place, we took the shot and then the hatch came down. We had GoPro cameras on cars, we had flying steady cams on harnesses, and all these things were tested as part of the core narrative and were developed in tandem with the event team, and were developed many months in advance.
What I liked most about bringing these people together, which hadn't been done before, was expanding everybody's boundaries and making everybody think outside the box. And that certainly happened on this production, because there were ideas that Danny's team had that were so different to what we were used to producing for live television, and what stadium event production we're not used to having to actualize either. And it was wonderful to see the determination that everyone had to not let no be an answer to any idea. Every idea was possible.
The amazing thing about the system change that we conceived was that all of a sudden television, and not just the television director, were in each of the production meetings. All the TV team knew how important certain things were to Danny, and we were all totally emotionally invested in his vision. And that's a really amazing thing, and that's never been done before. And I don't understand why, when so much time and energy and creative spirit is expended trying to get these amazing events realized, it's only one small step to bring the television production process under the umbrella of the creative staging team and say, right, you're all in a room together, we're all in this together, that's Danny Boyle, he's the creative, go make a movie. It's easy.